I think it was last week. I'm trying to catch, today's Tuesday. Vancouver reportedly offering Brock Boeser a contract extension, to which he was, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off. Does that put Boeser in the mix? I know you've got him at 12, but they're still kind of right there as we get closer to deadline day.
He's a little bit of Vandelay Industries right now. Importer, exporter. Like
that's right.
Could be both. Importer, exporter of fine latex goods.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. When I say this, it always sounds like, hey, congratulations, buddy. You just outlined all of the options. So he wants to be a Vancouver Canuck. And he's a little bit bothered and perturbed that it's gone on this long and that they essentially dared him this season. Hey, you scored 40 last year. Congratulations. But we want to see if you can actually do that again. And he's on track for 28. He's missed 7 games. And it's actually a slight tick above his career average. So they presented earlier this year a 5x8 offer, and $40 million is certainly nothing to sneeze at. But he believes that with the cap, and his camp believes that with the cap going up, he's in a good spot to cash in with potentially more years on the open market, 6 or a 7-year deal. At the same time, the Canucks are in this conundrum where they're going, should we stretch? Like the $8 million isn't the problem because he's already making $665. It's not a huge jump from $665 to $8. But are we comfortable giving the 6th or 7th year? That's what is the pinch between their shoulder blades. And they're trying to figure that out. They're going to make their best offer tomorrow or today or whenever it is this week before the deadline. And if they can't, and it's a hard no, do the Canucks care about this playoff chase, or is it more intriguing to them to get the value of Brock Boeser? Or could they kind of keep him for the playoff chase and then revisit those talks again as you get closer to free agency for a guy that I think in the end really doesn't want to leave, but the longer this has gone on is like, well, not only have you not necessarily treated me that well in terms of these offers and the negotiation, but it's also been a circus around here this year with Miller and Pettersson. And by the way, what happens to Rick Tocchet in his future, that I think there's a lot to consider on both sides. Boeser has just kind of sat back and has said, hey, I'm good either way. Either I'm getting 6 or 7 years on the market at that number, or you can pay me here to stay.
Yeah, it feels like a real major dice roll for me if Jim Rutherford's going to walk him past Friday, because look, why isn't he scoring a ton of this year? Well, how have the centers been there? Like, you traded JT Miller. Elias Pettersson's been brutal. He's not a perfect player, but he does what people pay for in this league. And if he's looking around, it's kind of looking like smoldering rubble right now with what's going on in the room and the departure of guys, statuses all of a sudden of Quinn Hughes and Thatcher Demko coming up. Like, I wouldn't walk this guy past Friday. I'd go get some assets.
But let me look at this from another perspective for the exact reason you mentioned, which is, okay, Miller's out the door. We don't know what's happening with Pettersson. If the Canucks have any plans to be a competitive team, who are you going to replace Boeser with to score you 28 or 30 goals next season?
Yeah.
Where's that guy going to come from?
Yeah, the whole thing falls apart if Pettersson's not a good player. That's really the.
What do you mean if he's not a good player? He hasn't been a good player for 15 months now.
Yeah, but now that you've traded JT Miller, you can't be a playoff team a win away from knocking off the Oilers, right? Like it's now even more important that
that would lend me to exactly what I'm saying in my argument, which is you got to keep Boeser. Give him the 6th or 7th year. Who cares? Let the next regime figure that part out. $8 million a year is in the ballpark.
Yeah.
If you have any designs on being competitive, you're further away with Boeser gone. Same conversation with Brad Marchand in Boston. You could get the value if you want, but the Bruins don't punt on seasons. How are you going to get back to being a good team, a team that's on the rails, if Brad Marchand, not just your captain, but a pivotal, guy driving the bus for your team, isn't part of it?
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.